Mobil Won the Grid is back, and we begin our new season behind the scenes with SHR and NASCAR's showcase, the Great American Race. 2007 Daytona 500 winner Kevin Harvick led a four-car Stewart-Haas racing assault at this year's NASCAR showpiece and season opener.
Being able to experience winning that race in 2007 lets you understand the difference between winning every other race and that race. And I think when you look at the winners list of the Daytona 500, it's the who's who of our sport. You have the most aggression and enthusiasm to try to take risks and do things that you normally wouldn't do, because it only comes once a year, and it can make a year and it can also make a career.
For Harvick's teammate Aric Almirola, it would be his final 500, having announced that this would be his final season in NASCAR.
I don't really feel any emotion yet. I have no idea what to expect. I'm sure I'll embrace it, but I'm not sad. I'm not feeling any real emotions of bittersweet. It's business as usual. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to kicking off the year in Daytona like we always do, and planning to go and have some success down there.
Almirola had a potent new weapon for his swan song season, a two-time 500 winning crew chief who'd engineered an unlikely victory for Michael McDowell exactly a year earlier in a chaotic finish.
Way to get a first victory at Daytona 500, are you kidding me? Yeah.
When they called out 34 to victory lane, oh man, that was special. I'll be looking forward to getting back to Daytona. It's a special place no matter what, but I took it for granted in 2009 when I was lucky enough to win it. And then this year I kind of just sat back and watched more and realized the joy on the guy's face. It's special. Winning the Daytona 500, you can go around the world and mention that race, and people that aren't race fans understand Daytona. And being able to chalk it up a couple times has been really neat.
Man, the Daytona 500 is the one, right? It is the race that we all want to win. Daytona 500 is the only race that when you win for the rest of your life, you are called a Daytona 500 champion. I grew up as a kid going to Daytona, watching races down there. I've won Xfinity race in Daytona. I've won the July Cup race in Daytona. I've won a duel in Daytona, but I have not won the Daytona 500. So I know where victory lane is. I'm very familiar with victory lane in Daytona. I just have yet to get the Daytona 500 trophy.
When I've worked with Eric before, he's a really good speedway racer. Joel, our spotter, and Eric work great together. The SHR cars have been in place to win it multiple times, so I think it would be unbelievable. This would be icing on the cake, knowing Eric get a Daytona 500 in his last season, and it kind of would free you up to do a lot of interesting and neat things in a season that nobody knows what the next week's gonna be like, because it's new for everyone.
With less experience, SHR's two young guns, Cole Custer and Chase Briscoe, were also hoping to hold their nerve on the big occasion.
Leading up to that week for a month and a half, 2 months, I remember thinking, you're going to get to run the Daytona 500, and to go down there and experience all the things. They normally have a couple of the rookies go up and fly with the Thunderbird, so I was able to do that, which was probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I remember taking the green flag and thinking, what a cool moment this is about to be, and looking up and really just enjoying the moment.
It's insane. I mean, especially the first time I went, it was one of the craziest experiences I've ever been a part of. So I think as you do it more and more, it becomes more relaxed and you know what to expect, but you walk into the track and you feel the goosebumps. It's the race that every single driver wants to win, every single crew member. I think going into it, it's one of those things you have to know when to push it, know when to lay back a little bit, I think. You always want to try and miss the big one. So we were up front at the end of the race last year, we just have to finish the deal this year.
The all-new next-gen cars added to the anticipation and uncertainty. With teams low on spare parts and nervous after just a few practice sessions and the qualifying duels, it would be all about staying out of trouble on race day.
It's gonna be really different with the new car. So many unknowns. We don't know how the car is going to act in a big pack of cars. How's the tire wear gonna be? How's the fuel mileage gonna be? There's a lot of questions still to be answered. We still gotta go put on a race, and we're still gonna go perform, and there's somebody that's still gonna figure it out and win.
We'll be back at Daytona shortly, but now we get our first glimpse of the new Formula One era.
2022 sees the biggest set of regulation changes in Formula One since the 1980s. lasers and light shows were the norm as teams launched new designs, and Oracle Red Bull Racing are set to defend their driver's title with the all-new RB18.
It's great to be back. You know, it's always good to see the new car for the first time, to see it pull out of the garage for the first time. RB18 has seen the biggest team effort in the history of our team. 2021 was so demanding, going all the way down to mid-December. So to have to turn this around and build, design, and manufacture this car has been an enormous effort, and it's testimony to the long hours and the hard work that's gone in behind the scenes that we're here today with this incredible new machine.
Car looks good. I mean, it's, you know, the rules are very different this year with the cars, so it's nice to get your first few laps and get a feel.
With bigger wheels, twin-channel floors and upgraded aerodynamics to allow a following car to get closer, the new regulations are designed to improve racing.
It looks really cool, really nice, and you can straight away see the amount of work that is behind the car, the amount of hours our people back in the factory have done. I'm confident. I really hope that the car is quick straight away.
Because the regulations are so immature, it's going to develop rapidly, and it's going to be fascinating to see the different concepts that the different teams have taken on board, and it's going to be a battle of development between the first race in Bahrain and the last race in Abu Dhabi.
You could already see the different cars, the way some of the teams have interpreted the rules. It will be just interesting come the first race to see which car is the best.
The season gets underway in Bahrain on the 20th of March. Perez and world champion Verstappen are ready to take on F1's new challenge together.
It feels like we haven't seen each other for a while, but now we're going to start to see each other pretty much every weekend, every week, so it's about to start to get intense.
Of course, it's great to be with Checo and the team. He's a good guy, he's a quick guy, and we really push each other, which at the end of the day is good for the team. So I'm looking forward to a fun year again together.
World Rally now and the dawn of the hybrid era on the stages.
Hybrid power brings the biggest technical shake-up in WRC history, and it was a challenging start to the campaign for world champions Toyota and their new GR Yaris Rally 1 in Monte Carlo.
All the teams have had a huge challenge simply because the regulations are all new from 2021, and therefore it's a massive task to build a car from the ground up. So I think we're all facing the same challenges to obviously make sure the car is reliable, but also to exploit the regulations to get performance, also to get the car working. And that's always more difficult in the beginning of a project than later on.
Their base near Jyväskylä in Finland provided perfect conditions to prepare for the all-snow challenge of Rally Sweden as they continue to get used to the new hybrid Yaris.
The car feels extremely powerful. It is very interesting with the hybrid boost, and it especially gives you the best effect when you already have 100 kph or something like that, and then you get the boost, and then the acceleration is amazing.
It was a really big job for the team and long days at the factory to get the new cars ready for Monte Carlo, and of course for the drivers it's much more exciting to start with the new car. We had so much more information and new things in the car to learn, but still I would say the feeling inside the team is good. I think everybody is working hard and really trusting that we can do again really good job this season.
9mm studs fitted to each Pirelli tyre enable the Yaris to plough a high-speed line through the white stuff.
When you come onto ice and snow, it's always a little bit hard to believe how much grip you really have, and it always takes a few runs to get the most out of them. The very specific rallies, these first few rallies, and Sweden of course is one of those. We only do it once in the year, so it is very important to maximise the time behind the wheel.
The biggest challenge with this car is to understand the increased weight and how the heavier car is reacting in different kind of situations, especially the sideways landings, same as on very fast corner combination where you need to change quickly the direction. You really feel the extra weight.
This car is quite handful on snow. You can really feel the weight quite a lot, and when it's snowing and quite slippy, it's really tricky to drive. You have a lot of work to do in the cockpit.
2 victories last season showed that Toyota's young Finn could be on the verge of a breakout campaign.
I'm just following my own ideas and own targets. I'm still the person who puts the most pressure on myself. I'm always pushing myself a lot more even than other people around me, so I don't really listen or care so much what everybody is saying. I hope that it can be a really good season, but then We all saw in Monte Carlo it was not an easy start for me, so we just need to work hard and try to be on the winning pace again.
It was Elwin Evans who won the last Rally Sweden, while Esa-Pekka Lappi, who returns to the Toyota lineup, will draw on the memories of his epic Rally Finland victory in 2017.
It feels great to be back. I still remember the feeling when we went over the finish line on the power stage. That memory motivates me because the feeling was so good. I've gained a lot of experience since that moment, so we are more than ready actually to do these things again.
For me, the thing that always stands out about TGR WRT is that everybody is here to win, and I haven't really sensed any change in that at all. So that's a nice atmosphere to be a part of. Everybody thrives, of course, on winning. But even when we make mistakes in Monty, they all put your arm around you and they don't get angry. They understand and they support you through those difficult moments. And that's a great environment to be working in and, of course, to perform.
Toyota lost ground to M Sport's Ford Pumas in Monte Carlo. But as they headed to Sweden, their Welsh star was determined to get his world title bid back on track.
The target is always the same. That's to be in the #1 spot at the end of the year. It's a whole new era, so it's going to take a lot to direct everything in the right direction. But of course, the target is always the same, and we try our best to achieve it.
We return to Florida now to join SHR at the Daytona 500. Race day at the Great American Race, and with a sellout crowd for the first time in 2 years, Daytona was buzzing with the next-gen era of NASCAR ready to rumble.
It's had its set of challenges as well as successes. I feel like toward the end here we've gotten our cars really close. We've gotten a lot of speed out of them, and a lot of the drivers are happier.
I think our strategy from Stewart-Haas perspective is we're going to try and keep all 4 of our cars together, really work hard together, and just see that we can't help each other get to the finish line and then let them race it out.
The 64th Daytona 500 is underway.
The first trouble for SHR came on lap 42 when Chase Briscoe in the number 14 was spun around by Austin Cindric. The bump caused by yellow flag confusion as a loose tyre hurtled down the track. But the SHR Fords were able to avoid the big one 20 laps later.
Big crash on the back straightaway takes out William Byron, Kyle Busch, and Harrison Burton.
3-time winner Denny Hamlin was amongst those out of the race, while his JGR teammate Martin Truex Jr. took over at the front, winning Stage 1 in the number 19 Toyota. In Stage 2, the Fords, with 16 of the 40-car field, were drafting together with 11 of them in the top 12. But there was pit stop trouble for SHR's young guns, Chase Briscoe overshooting his box in a crowded pit road and having to reverse in, while Cole Custer would go a lap down with refueling trouble.
Things were looking pretty decent to start the race, and we came down pit road, I think the second time, and it wouldn't take fuel. So it's just one of those things with this next-gen car, things that we'll learn for the next time how to get better. But man, I wish we could have raced for the win there.
Truex managed to wrestle a Stage 2 win from the Fords, but on lap 151 it all went wrong for last year's championship runner-up.
Crash out of turn 4. One car got sideways into the wall, and half a dozen cars are in it, including Truex right front damage to his car.
SHR's most experienced driver, Kevin Harvick, was fighting at the front with just 10 laps to go.
Around and into the fence goes Harvick, and it's a 7-car jam session.
Harvick was out of the running, and there was more carnage to come as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was spun by Brad Keselowski, sending the race into overtime. SHR's hopes rested with number 10 Aric Almirola queued up on the low line and a resurgent Chase Briscoe in the 14 drafting on the outside. Both were trying to get to the leader on the final lap.
Austin Cindric, whose grandfather won the Indy 500 as a car owner. Cindric is going to bring them to the line way up high to block Ryan Blaney, and at the line, Cindric beats Bubba Wallace by half a car length, and they crash going into turn 1.
An incredible maiden race win for rookie Cindric, while SHR finished with 2 in the top 5. Almirola 5th in his final 500, and Briscoe agonizingly close in 3rd.
Johnny and the guys did a really good job of just keeping fighting, and I feel like that's kind of been our mantra the last year even. We just never gave up, and we had a chance to win the Daytona 500 at the end. So to start our year off, with a third is a good way to start the season.
It was good. You had some unknowns. Like when we got the spin, it was like we had damage to the diffuser, so it was new for those guys to fix that. But everyone on the pit crew, they rallied, and like you said, we never quit. We just kept working hard and digging deep and put ourselves in contention at the end.
We end today at the Nürburgring as the new Porsche Carrera Cup cars are readied for delivery.
After making its competitive debut last year, 2022 sees the 7th generation of Porsche's 911 GT3 Cup car, the 992, taking to the grid worldwide.
We started with 160 cars in the first year in actually 6 markets, including Super Cup, Carrera Cup Germany, France, Benelux, also the North American and the Asian market. If you look at it, it's quite a big step from the old car. We wanted to increase performance, but we also wanted to increase the overall feel of the car. All starts pretty much 2 years prior to production with the development of such a racing car, to figure out what the car is going to look like and what our customers want and what the product then will finally be. This is something I think we did achieve quite well, and the feedback from the first season has been very good.
Boasting improved handling and an aggressive new look, the GT Silver 992s arrive at Manthey Racing's base near the Nürburgring for their final shakedown.
Porsche used Manthey for helping in development. After Porsche built the cars in Stuttgart, the cars come to Moispart, and we do the setup, we bleed the brake systems. After that, we go on the Nürburgring to test the cars.
Since 1990, Porsche have sold over 4,000 of the iconic Cup cars. Ex-Works driver Jörg Bergmeister has played a key role in developing the latest version.
One thing I really pushed for was the brakes, because on the previous car I never 100% liked the feedback of the brake pedal. For me, the feedback wasn't perfect, so I pushed quite hard to get it the way it is now.
The Nürburgring is just a short trip down the road, and the sight of 2,500 horsepower racers setting off to the track is something you don't see every day.
We are 3 kilometers from the Nürburgring, so it's easy for us. We are allowed to drive with the car over the street to the racetrack. Normally it's not allowed, but in this case, with special license, we can go direct to the track. It's cool to see 10 or 20 cars with the lights on the roof. It's a cool show.
This is a quite unusual sighting on a public road to see a proper race car on there. And if you drive down there, if you're sitting in a leading car or follow car, this is, I guess, something special.
The shakedown is a chance for the thoroughbreds to let loose, putting the optimised aerodynamics and upgraded suspension to the test under real track conditions.
Shakedown, you usually just go out on track, first see if the car runs okay, if there's no problems, no strange noises, and check if all the systems work properly, all the switches, all the sensors, so just all the little details.
The customers asked on more aggressive looks on the car. From every angle, the car should look like a race car and then even feel like a race car to get the best lap times out there. This was one side, and one huge other side is the overall handling of the car, because it's not always about the driver. It's also the team, the mechanics, the engineer, how you work with the car.
More than 300 of the 992 edition Cup races have already been delivered. With 32 years of track success before them, they have a difficult act to follow.
The legacy of a Cup car is quite a big thing within that project, because all the cars we delivered before were great racing machines. I started with the 964 many years ago, but I think we made a great step. The first feedback is really good, we're really happy with that, and I hope that the car will be the same success story as all of the other Cup cars been before.
Next time, we're on location at the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring and take a closer look at the next-gen NASCAR. We'll see you then on Mobil 1 The Grid.